when I saw it, I was like, so what you're telling me is you casted George Clooney,
Yeah.
you brought him onto set, and you didn't get him in the suit?
Yeah. It's like,
Get out of here, dude. Get him out of here.
dude, I wonder if like, maybe in like the tuxedo, if they have like nipples
The
for the
tuxedo
tuxedo.
nips.
Yeah. Be like, oh, that's Batman.
It's like that's his thing. Like instead of putting bats on everything, he just puts nipples. That's like his car has nipples on it.
Yeah, it's like, what do we need? It's not Batman, it's Nipple Man. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the ATG Podcast. I'm NattyDucks, and I'm joined
What?
with...
What?
I
got you. I got you.
You did get me. You got me.
Let's go. Episode
I'm
5.
joined with Mr. TitaniumZombie.
How's it going, everybody?
Yeah.
I'm in a little bit of a different location. I'm at my college dorm right now, so that's why the background's a little different. Lighting is bad, so I'm using my light as my window as light, so that's why my lights are off and it's really dark in there. So
yeah, I'm not
try to ignore it.
His college dorm, so yeah, I'm in my own room.
I'd be a little strange.
Yeah, that would be. Anyway, what are we talking about today, TZ?
We are talking specifically about DCEU. We talked about the Marvel Universe in episode 2. I think it was episode 2, right? Episode 2. Yeah.
Yep.
And so now we said like, oh, it'd be cool to like look at the other side. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. We're gonna go over every DCEU project, and kind of how I worded it was we'll talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, and then whether or not, or like what we would do, or like some of the stuff like if we're talking about Batman, let's say, right? What we would do differently, and what we think James Gunn and the new DCU could do to make it better, make it work, right? Because there's a lot of stuff that the DCEU failed on, but there's some stuff that I think it did good on. So I don't think it's going to be all negative. It's going to be, I think, actually, I want to praise some of these movies because they are really good.
Yeah, so we're going to go through the DCEU, kind of reminisce on it, look back on it, and then kind of see what worked in it, what didn't, and what we would like to see from the DCU James Gunn in the future. So.
I feel like Batman is going to be a big topic because like he doesn't have a movie in this, so there's going to be a point where we're just going to have to talk about him.
Batman v Superman.
That's probably when
Dawn of Justice.
We'll do it early.
But we'll get to that. But first, what's new?
Okay. So the thing I brought, so we're talking about specifically DCEU stuff. So we're not going to touch on any of the Elseworlds or anything like that. So I decided to bring a little bit of the Elseworld stuff in. So recently, exactly like 21 hours ago, at least on this channel that I'm looking on, Joker 2 dropped a trailer that's coming out later this year. Did you know about this?
Yeah, I did.
Have you seen the trailer?
Yeah, I have.
What did you think of it?
Well, I haven't seen the first Joker movie except from
well, but that's probably good movie though.
I've heard good things about it. But I've seen it going in a musical route. The first one wasn't a musical, right?
No, it was a very like serial killer-esque movie where it didn't seem like a regular comic book movie where it was just more like a story about a guy going crazy, right?
Yeah.
This one, so it has some sort of, I'm not even going to try and pronounce the name because it's
French?
Like, it's a French translation to a certain, let me bring up the YouTube comment that this guy put up here. For French, Folly of Two, and it says, also known as a shared psychosis or shared delusional disorder, rare psychiatric syndrome in which symptoms of disillusional belief and sometimes hallucinations. So basically, if that is said to be true, that I think Harley and a lot of like the musical-esque things in this are going to kind of be his coping mechanism, and like that larger than life persona is like his way of like dealing with like trauma and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So kind of a good way of doing it, in my opinion. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix can sing. He started out playing Johnny Cash, and he sang everything in that movie, so like he can sing. Like that's not a problem. I heard that there's a lot of like cover songs in this movie so far, which I'm down with. Like I'm not like heart set on them doing a bunch of
imagine like original. All these like pop songs,
Yeah,
shake it off.
There'll probably be a Lady Gaga song in there too somewhere, but
sense,
because she's in the movie, which I think is actually not a bad pick for Harley. I know a lot of people were like, kind of weird for this universe. I think it's fine, and it looks like from the trailer they're changing her origin a little bit. She's not like
psychiatrist.
A psychiatrist. She's
psycho.
in the asylum. She's in the asylum, and she might not even be real, right? Like his last girlfriend was not real.
Yeah.
Like I know you haven't seen the first movie. That's like a plot point where he like imagines her and like has a whole like relationship, and then he like breaks into her apartment.
Well,
yeah,
cool.
I mean
you excited for it? Are you gonna go?
I'm looking forward to it. I'd go see it. Yeah, I think it's gonna be cool. I mean, it's kind of like a hopefully like I mean the last one was really good, and especially because the whole team kind of came back together. And we gotta remember how much the last Joker movie was like I wouldn't say a low budget movie, but it was like for a big superhero movie, a lower budget, right?
Yeah.
And this one got a bit of a boost when it comes to like now it's like a $200 million movie, right?
Yeah.
So, like if and the director Todd, I think it's still Todd Phillips. If it is like they clearly chose this to be a musical, right, for a reason. So let him cook is kind of what I've been saying. It's like with Matt Reeves, he wants to take an extra year with the Batman. That's fine. Just let him cook, right? This is not a part of a continuity or anything like that. People are just trying to make art, so let them do their thing. Don't get pissed off. Let them come out with it when it's ready. And like this movie's coming out this year, so.
All right. So what did I bring? So I saw this the other day. I was scrolling on YouTube Shorts, as you do, or TikTok or whatever.
Oh no!
And I saw our short. No, I'm kidding. No, but there was this interesting thing. Apparently, recently, like within the past like couple weeks, a researcher named Ian Phillips, and like his team somewhere in the UK, have used fiber optics to make Wi-Fi speeds, transferring data 1.2 million times faster than it currently is.
Really?
Yeah, they managed to do it, like transmit 301 terabytes of data in 1 second.
That is insane. Dude.
Yeah, per second. Which is
dude,
just
can you imagine
nuts.
The Fortnite kids when they hear about this?
Yeah, dude, it's like
people are gonna be cranking 90s so fast. Like,
yeah.
You thought it was bad before. Get ready.
And the cool thing with these, I mean, I'm not an expert on fiber optics, but the way that it works will be like it can work with the current systems that are already in place with the fiber optic cables around the world. Yeah. So you don't even really need new one. Like you need like receivers and transmitters probably and all sorts of stuff like that. But there's very early days on it, but it's really fascinating for the future. 301 terabytes a second. Dude. I'm
never going to have an excuse to not upload.
Yeah.
I'm never going to have an excuse.
Dude, your upload, you just like go to YouTube.
You're going to be like, what's the problem? What's the problem? Like you could do it. Like what's the problem?
It's like it's already there. Yeah, the latency.
Someone can never complain about lag again.
Yeah, I wonder if latency, like if that was the case and you were able to go back and forth and receive, like could you do, like say music, sort of.
That would be cool.
I don't know. Like would it still be a notable?
Natty's just praying,
difference?
dude. He's praying.
I am, man. I'm just hopeful for the future, but maybe we'll see. But yeah, that's what I brought. Super interesting. To look into.
Awesome.
But yeah. So brought a game to play.
Yes.
Sorry.
We're not doing Mad Libs again.
No.
That took me too long to edit, dude. That's
the same with the.
I hope nobody enjoyed that because never happening again.
Yeah.
Okay? If you guys hit like,
if you like really enjoyed it, but so yeah, I saw this one on a YouTube short as well. I was scrolling and I was like, hey, that looks cool. So let's try that. Okay. Avoid saying the same thing as me. So I'm gonna give like a category of.
Okay.
Things.
No, I've seen these. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're gonna say at the exact same time. Yeah. So I'm gonna count down like 3, 2, 1. Okay. Say.
Okay.
And we'll say it at the same time.
Okay, I got you. Yeah. Okay.
We'll try to say different things. So the first one is a candy brand. All right.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Skittles.
Coffee Crisp.
Coffee Crisp. All right.
Canadian. I got you there.
Canadian. That's you got me there. All right. We'll go with farm animal. 3, 2, 1, cow.
Cow. Fuck.
No.
You're gonna
Oh,
go pig,
man.
dude. Now you're gonna go pig
Oh.
or horse.
I
Or
did
something.
think of pig, and I thought I'd
We can
go.
keep going.
But
We
I
can keep
went,
going.
yeah. All right, we're going to go with super villain. 3, 2, 1, Dr. Octopus.
Joker. Shit.
Joker.
I was
Hey.
so I looked over and I read Black Adam and then I thought Joker.
Yeah, all right.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Next
I
up.
wasn't gonna say Doc Ock, so we're good.
Yeah, next one. A Canadian province. All right.
Oh no.
3,
Okay.
2, 1. None
Quebec.
of it? Is that a province or is that a territory? I don't know, but we didn't get the same one.
That's a we'll count it. It's a territory, but
it's a territory. I get
whatever.
you. All right, this one I'm worried for.
Okay.
Because there's only 4 options. A beetle. All right.
Oh god. It's over.
3, 2, 1. Paul
McCartney.
And we got it there. So all right, 3 out of 5.
Not bad. That's not
we
bad.
got separate, but 2 we got similar. Yeah, the beetle one I'm not too surprised about because it was like a 75% chance of you getting. I guess 25% getting it wrong. All right.
Okay, so let's get to the real meat and potatoes of this podcast.
Here on the podcast.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through every single DCEU project that came out not in chronological order. We're gonna come in release order, and whether we've seen it, whether we think it's good, whether we liked it, and then what we would do in the future. And then like we can also say like, hey, do you think this should come over, right? Because I know some stuff is coming over to the new DC continuity, like Amanda Waller and Peacemaker and some of that stuff. So what from the old DCU should stick around and what shouldn't? All right, so we will just start with the first one. Man of Steel, 2013, Henry Cavill. I like this movie. I like this movie a lot. When this first came out, a lot of people hated on it. I never understood it.
I've only seen this one more recently for the first time.
Yeah, I watched it pretty much when it first came out, and I was like, because 2013, I was just a wee lad, right?
Yeah.
So Henry Cavill kind of became my Superman, right? Yeah. And I was like, yo, this is really cool. Like, I like the darker approach to it. I was really into Amazing Spider-Man 1 at that time, too. I was like edgy. So all the edgy movies really were working for me, right?
And they were doing a lot of that.
And they were doing a lot of that, right? Because Dark Knight just came out, so a lot of people were like, we're trying to hit that.
Yeah.
That brand, right?
You don't want the goofy, you want the dark.
No, well, yeah, well, the last time they did goofy was Batman and Robin, so that doesn't work. So,
that's true.
Man of Steel, I thought it was a good movie. I think it got a little overhated. I think that's a lot of the situation with some of these like DC movies. Like, I think a lot of them were overhated. Like, I understand the complaints, but at the same time, like, they were just nitpicking. It's like a lot of people complain about, oh, Superman was destroying the whole city. Like, first of all, no, that was General Zod. Second of all, he's a younger Superman, doesn't know how to fight yet. He doesn't know how to throw hands. And these guys were all like soldiers trained from birth.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry, he's a farm boy growing up on Kansas. Do you expect him to throw hands with military people?
Yeah.
No. And it's not like they're all humans, right? They all have the same powers as him, right? So if he hits them, he hits a human, of course they're going to explode into a bunch of pieces. But if he hits one of them, they're just like going to look at him like, what are you doing?
It's like if you're playing, like, it's just like easy mode for everything, and then you get thrown in against like an
and that was the
opponent.
first time he really ever fought anything, right? Up until then, he would just lifted buses and thrown other stuff, right? He hadn't really fought anybody, so it kind of makes sense that he was kind of being more reckless. And I think Henry Cavill deserved a second shot at another Man of Steel. I think they should have done more with him. I think I'm going to say this a bunch during every time he's in something. He's underutilized as a character. And I think it would have been cool to see him in this position in the first one and see him grow into that hopeful Superman that everybody knows and loves. Instead of just starting out as it's called character development, guys. And not that I dislike what they're going to be doing with the new Superman Legacy or Superman Period or whatever it's called now. I'm fine with that. I'm looking forward to it. I think David Cornsmith's going to do a great job. I just I'm more disappointed by what we could have had more than like what they did. Like it's sad that we had to see Cavill go because he is so passionate about the role. He loves the character of Superman, and he looks the part. He plays the part pretty well, and it was kind of just the fault of bad writing and but yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff we're gonna probably talk about but solid movie. I think it was a little overhated.
Casting was good all around.
Yeah. I didn't even talk about this. Michael Shannon.
And Michael Shannon, yeah.
Holy hell, dude! He might be the best villain in this entire list, other than like Starro, which we'll get to. He's probably my favorite villain in the DCU.
Yeah. He's good. Zod.
He's so good in this role. Like the scene where he's like after everything's blown up and he like picks up the dirt and he's like, oh, everything I do is for my people, and all that. That scene works.
Yeah.
But moving on, we'll move on to the part 2 of this movie, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Dawn of Justice.
This is really, in my opinion, this is probably the beginning of like. Maybe this kind of started for me. This is like what kind of started to show. This is what started to show like the problem, I guess, with the DCEU, okay. And it was more of like the fact that it was all about keeping up with Avengers, right? That's what it seemed like. And even if
look
like
at the MCU, how successful that was at the time.
Yeah, I know.
Look at DC, and it was like they were just catching up.
It seemed like that. Yeah. To me, it was kind of a situation of like. They saw it and they were like, oh, let's just speed run an Avengers movie.
Yeah. And
whether Zack Snyder wants to go online and pray that he was not doing that, I think he's full of shit personally, but it's whatever. Anyway, I think this movie, for what it was trying to be, the Death of Superman story, I think it was pretty good. I don't think it was that like it was trying to be a fusion of Death of Superman and Dark Knight Rises by Frank Miller, which is like they're both really good comics, but they really have nothing to do with each other, right? The Doomsday story, I think Doomsday worked as well as he could. He was kind of just a third act villain.
Yeah,
I think the Martha scene everybody makes fun of, but I think that Martha scene actually works pretty well if Batman doesn't pull out machine guns and shoot people.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna have problems with DCU Batman. Everyone's like, Ben Affleck's my favorite Batman. He looks the part. He plays it so well. The fact that he like takes on a whole room of dudes. It's like, you mean the fact that he kills a whole room of dudes?
Yeah.
It's like I get past Batman have killed before, but guys, that's like a main part of his character.
Yeah.
Hate on the Robert Pattinson as much as you want. He don't kill.
Yeah, at least not nearly as willingly.
Yeah, he doesn't have machine guns on the top of his car.
Yeah, specifically to kill.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of issues with this. I mean, I'll put it a link in the description because I showed you this video.
Yeah,
it's by High Top Films. Batman does not kill. That perfectly shows all of my reasons for why I think Batman and Superman does not fully work. And he kind of clowns on Snyder a little bit, but that's whatever. I'll put it down in the description. Go watch it for yourselves.
Yeah, it's a good video. Yeah.
But moving on, we got Suicide Squad, the first one, pretty bad. I forgot how bad. Like I did not think when I first watched this, I was like, "This is a good movie. I like this." And then I rewatched it, and I was like, "Never mind."
Yeah.
I take that back. Don't worry. Don't get me wrong. There's some good parts in this movie.
Yeah.
But
Margot Robbie casted as
great
Harley
casting.
Quinn.
By the way,
yeah,
the DCU never misses in casting.
Yeah,
I gotta say, I don't think there's one real miss in casting. It's like Ben Affleck, Amanda Waller. Yeah, like
Amanda Waller is great. Yeah.
You know what? I'll give them one miss for casting.
Yeah.
And you know who it's gonna? Can you guess? Can you guess? Who do you think I'm gonna say? Who do you think is my one miss in the DCU for casting? I'll give you a hint. They're in Suicide Squad.
Ezra Miller.
No.
In Suicide Squad, I'm not sure.
I forgot Ezra Miller was in that movie, to be honest with
you. Yeah. Who is it?
Jared Leto is Joker.
Oh yeah, dude, I forgot about Jared Leto. Oh man, I wish I could forget about Jared Leto.
Dude, I think what he did in the Snyder Cut, which we'll get to, was fine, but this movie was not it, dude. This movie. Yeah. I know there's so many deleted scenes, and hey, if they want to make the Ayer cut, go ahead, but. Let's just move on to a good movie at this point.
Yeah.
All right, Wonder Woman, the first one, 2017. W movie. Great movie. I think this is a
Yeah, I
great
mean,
story.
it's solid all around of the 19 like the
Yeah, yeah.
1910s like World War I sort of
You know what
stuff.
I really liked about this? I like the way they did Ares. I know a lot of people
Yeah,
complain about because I always liked Ares, mainly because I played a lot. I played him. I mained him in Injustice, but
yeah,
um, the way that like I kind of didn't like they kind of made like a mystery about who he was,
yeah,
and then they do the whole thing of like, oh yeah, but wait, you're a good guy, and it's like, yeah, I'm a good guy, but I'm trying to keep the war going because gives me power and all that. And it's like even the good guys are still bad, and it's like all that whole thing. I like how they weren't like, oh yeah, we're the good guys, we're the allies, so we're the good ones, right? And even
yeah,
Chris Pine's character was like, that's not really how it works. There really is no good guys and bad guys.
yeah,
We're all just people fighting for what we believe is right, it was just really cool.
yeah. It was,
It's just a solid movie all
yeah,
around.
good casting again.
Yeah,
Great character work. It was just a really good movie.
yeah.
One of the
Um,
one of the best I'd say in the DCEU.
yeah.
Yeah.
And to move on, we got Justice League,
Justice League.
which is the only thing I'm ever going to call it from now on.
Yeah.
If you're not aware of the situation, basically halfway through, or not even halfway through, pretty much at the end of production of Justice League 2017, Zack Snyder, the director, had to step away because of a family tragedy, and hit director Joss Whedon, director of Avengers 1 and 2, decided to step in, and
He made a movie.
he made a movie, that's for
He
sure.
made a
It is.
movie.
It is. You know what? I remember walking out of this film the first time, and we were all like, "Wow, that was really good."
Yeah.
And then
And then
like
it
I
set in.
rewatched, and then I rewatched it. It's a similar situation to Suicide Squad. I rewatched it, and I was like, "Wow, never mind."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. It's crazy though. Like let's just combo this one with Snyder Cut. We'll skip Snyder Cut later on. Um, it's crazy to me how much of the original cut for like the Snyder Cut, how different it is. Like coloring, everything. Like even down to the way they designed Steppenwolf. Right?
Yeah.
Have you seen the Snyder Cut?
No, not yet.
Oh,
Yeah,
have you seen Justice League?
yeah.
Dude, what's going on? What's going on, dude? No, it's crazy though. Like when you do watch it, which maybe we should have waited to do this.
Yeah.
It's so crazy to me how much is different. Which because you don't think it would be, right? You would think like, oh, it's just like a re-edit. You add a couple of hours of filler dialogue. No, it adds a whole other section to this movie. Like it changes the whole dynamic of the cast. Like Aquaman isn't as much of a dick to just randomly. Cyborg actually has a character arc in this movie. Um, Ezra Miller's The Flash does something other than push a truck out in the middle of nowhere. Like it's crazy to me how much in this movie changed. It was like wow, it's like there's an actual coherent story, and it's like in the other one, it's like you just did stuff to put stuff in. Like what the hell? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. It's
I
really weird
mean,
talking about the movie. Yeah,
yeah,
you haven't seen it, so
I mean, I've heard good things about it.
yeah.
So, but yeah.
We really should have waited, to be honest with you. But okay, it's fine. It's fine. We'll get through it. You've seen Aquaman though, right?
Bits of it.
There's no way,
Dude, you wanted to do the DC one, man. Look, here's the thing, right? One
Okay,
of
let's
us.
start with this. What have you seen? We'll just go over that. We'll just go over
I've seen Shazam.
Okay, let's start there.
Okay,
Shazam.
okay.
What did you think of Shazam?
I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. It was a very fun movie. Again, I think it was pretty good casting all around. Again, I mean that's just for all the DCE
It's
movies.
starting to sound like a broken record. That's the only you're like, oh, good
Honestly.
movie, good casting.
Yeah. What else about it is good though? I mean, it was just all around. It was just a fun movie. Shazam. I don't know what your thoughts on
I'm
that
glad
are.
that they got they got the guy who played Dr. Sylvana in this movie. I'm glad he finally got to
Yeah.
play the villain role because he was supposed to play Sinestro
Yeah.
in Green Lantern. So I was happy about.
Yeah, that is true. It
I
was.
think it's the similar situation in this one. It's like, this one has had a really good start, and I like the kind of the way they described it. It's like, oh, it's big but with superpowers. That's a good
Yeah.
way of putting this movie, right? That's how I remember everyone describing it that way, because it
That
is.
yeah, that 100% makes sense. Yeah, I like
Um,
the growth over time of realizing and kind of coming to the like that
yeah,
he actually has a responsibility, someone, and not
yeah.
just let's mess around.
I do think because you haven't seen the second one, I assume.
Yeah.
I'm guessing at this point.
Like,
Basically,
you
the
haven't seen
problem
anything.
the problem with the second one, just with the way I can talk about it, like we're gonna kind of skip over shit here, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Um, the problem with the second one, in my opinion, is that Zachary Levi as Shazam kind of just doesn't grow up, right?
Yeah.
Because Asher Angel, the guy who plays Billy Batson, he's like like 19, right, when in the
Yeah.
second one, and his character is like 17, right? And
Yeah.
he acts like a 17-year-old kid would.
Yeah.
And then he turns into Shazam, and he turns into like a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
And he kind of does it in the first one, but it works because Asher Angel's like he's like 14 in the
Yeah.
first one, right? So he's a younger kid, right?
Yeah.
Billy Batson, he's a younger kid, right? So it makes sense in the first one. And the second one, it's like, okay, maybe stop being a child a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anyway,
Do you
great
want
movie.
to briefly talk about Aquaman or
I mean, yeah, I think it's a good movie. I think it's Aquaman's
good casting?
fun. It's fun. I think Jason Momoa. I will say this. I think what they tried to do with Aquaman worked.
Yeah.
I hope if we're going to talk about what I think they should do for the next DCEU, now that you've made Aquaman cool, now you can do the like the blonde Aquaman,
Yeah.
the more traditional style, where he
Yeah.
kind of more
The
talks
deep.
like Thor.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of how he is, right? In most
Yeah.
continuities, he's more like Thor
Atlantis, yeah.
as a character, which is fine. I think that's what I'd rather see in the next
Yeah.
one. Like, don't make him
Don't do another
don't make him Jason Momoa.
Jason
Is what I'm
Momoa,
saying.
yeah. For sure.
Unless you're just bringing Jason Momoa back, then
Yeah.
it's fine. But I don't think you're gonna do
Jason
that. I think
Momoa in like a blonde wig.
no, I think they're gonna have him play Lobo. I think that's the way they're
That'd
gonna
be
do
a
it.
good. I mean, he thought that's what he was gonna be playing, and when he first
Yeah,
got cast.
when he first
And
got
it was like,
cast, yeah.
Aquaman, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a good movie. I mean, yeah, we'll stick to the ones that because have
Yeah.
you seen the Suicide Squad? With
Yeah.
James Gunn, James Gunn's first movie.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because we've already talked about it.
Yeah.
When Wonder Woman and Birds of Prey, I haven't seen, so
You
I'm
haven't
okay with skipping
seen
those.
Wonder Woman 1984 or Birds of
No,
Prey? I've seen
no.
those. Man, it looks like
Really?
you're not prepared. Yeah.
You've seen those, and you have.
Yep.
Buddy, I don't want to. I just threw something on my camera and it just stuck to it.
Birds of Prey
An
was
elastic band.
it was okay. Harley Quinn's all right. They didn't really
Ewan
fully use
McGregor?
the character. Yeah, Ewan McGregor, he was in it. Not his best role. But it was all right, I guess. And then Wonder Woman 1984. Interesting.
It could
to
be
say the
good,
least.
but it can be better.
Yeah, Pedro Pascal was good in it.
He's the best.
Yeah,
Pedro Pascal just cooks in anything he's in. Dude.
It was very odd in the way that they brought back Steve, right? Is that his name?
Wasn't it with like the wishing stone or whatever?
Yeah, so there's the
heard.
whole plot. But basically, rather than like materializing a new guy, right, to like, like his body or whatever to be there, they took his consciousness and like put it in someone else's body. So like the whole time in the background of the movie, Wonder Woman is just like with some random guy that like doesn't have any control anymore because of the wishing stone. It's a very weird thing.
So they kidnapped a guy.
Yeah, essentially, but like they have
and she's the good guy in this movie.
And then they have Chris Pine like play the character, but really it's some other guy.
That's weird.
It's really odd, and you could have easily said, okay, why doesn't the wishing stone just like just create the person? Why do you have to take? I don't know, it's a very weird sort of thing. But yeah, it was definitely not. It was not nearly as good as the first one. It was kind of a dud, I'd say. But anyway, what's next?
Moving on to the Suicide Squad. We already talked about Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yeah.
When we talked about Justice League, so
Yep.
this one did everything that the first one should have. In my opinion.
No, it was really.
I was
really
emotionally scarred. This is the first movie other than Infinity War that while driving home, I had the 1,000-yard stare the whole time out the window because I kept thinking of Captain Boomerang getting destroyed by a goddamn helicopter. That opening scene emotionally scarred me.
Yeah, you're like, Boomerang, no.
Not even just Boomerang. Like Pete Davidson getting his face blown off in the first 20 minutes of the movie.
Yondu.
I was just like, dude, it's just sensory overload with how much shit is happening right now.
Yeah. I love how like the first like 5-10 minutes is set up, like building up for this team. You're like, okay. And then
these are our team, and they all fucking die. Like,
except for Harley.
And then like I like what they did with I mean, obviously, Bloodsport is just low key. Will Smith, he's just stand-in for his character. I know that there was
you're
plans
just like
to bring
me,
back.
but better.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, John Cena did a great job. I mean, I haven't seen Peacemakers, and I've heard he's good in that too. But I don't have HBO Max, so
me neither. Peacemaker has a great intro for sure.
So
we'll get too subject.
But John Cena, I know he's coming to the new DCU. I would love to see some of the other characters.
Yeah,
I think Harley, as much as I like Margot Robbie's Harley, because they're doing a new Batman and they're probably going to do a new Joker. You can't really bring over her. Yeah. As much as she's great in that role, I think we are going to get a new Harley Quinn, if at all, even if we get one at this point.
Yeah,
because we're getting a lot of Harley Quinn content, so I don't know how much we'll really be getting.
That's true.
She's a fan favorite, so we will get her in the new DCU. But I like King Shark, my favorite character in this movie. If they don't bring back Sylvester Stallone as King Shark, I will be mad. And James Gunn, I will never forgive you if you do not bring back Sylvester Stallone as King Shark.
Not confusing.
I haven't seen Peacemaker. Have you seen Black Adam?
Yeah. Have you?
Yes. What did you think of it? It's The Rock.
Probably one of the worst on the list, in my opinion.
That's fair.
It was pretty bad. I mean, why did they try to separate it from
Shazam?
Yeah. I mean, Justice Society was cool.
You know what?
Pierce Brosnan as Dr.
I heard this
Fate,
online.
but...
Yeah, Pierce Brosnan was the highlight of the movie, for my opinion.
Yeah.
I think for whatever reason, this just seemed like the pinnacle of I want to say this. I really like The Rock. Okay, I don't hate.
You're a Rock fan.
I'm not a Rock hater. Okay.
Yeah.
But I do. I saw this online, and someone said like this movie was like the perfect representation of his like I guess ego or like the fame and everything boiling over. Right, because he had been on such a streak of like hit movies, right? It was like all these back-to-back box office successes, whether the quality of the movie is good or not. Like he was doing well in the box office, right? And this movie did not do that, right? It barely made its budget back, and I think there was a lot of reasons for it, but I think the main reason was it was a super villain movie that nobody knew about, without its hero.
Yeah,
you're not Venom, and you're not Joker, right? At the end of the day, Venom is debatably one of the most popular Spider-Man villains besides Green Goblin and Doc Ock, right? So that's what I mean, right? Like they didn't market it really any good way, other than like, oh yeah, we're bringing in Dr. Fate, and it really just left a lot of questions, like, oh, but we've never seen these characters before. Why are they all of a sudden just here? Where were they during all the other things? And they just kind of didn't answer it. And then Superman randomly shows up at the end, and now the universe is getting canned. So,
moving on.
I haven't seen. I didn't get through Blue Beetle. Didn't see the end of it. I turned it off.
Oh really?
I could turn it off. I couldn't do it.
It was just.
I thought he was good. Like I just want to say that. Miguel from Cobra Kai. Can't think of his name right now.
Yeah.
I'm blanking right now. Anyway, Miguel from Cobra Kai. Thought he did a great job. I hope he comes over. I know he is going to come over to the new DCEU.
Yeah.
Hope he comes over and does a Teen Titans film. I thought he was great. Family dynamic, I thought was pretty good. The villain, utter shit. And
don't even remember the villain. Oh, it was
exactly.
It was like that
Kraven the
Hunter.
Hunter. Hunter, and then Corporate Lady number 30,000.
Yeah.
So, there's that. And I haven't also not seen Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
Me
So
neither.
because even Warner Brothers forgot to market this movie.
That's
So,
true.
so we're not even going to talk about them. So let's just talk about the big one, the real end of the DCEU.
Yep.
And that was The
Flash.
Flash.
Ba-da-ba-dum. Yep.
And that's going to be the remainder of this episode.
Yeah.
So The Flash is a good movie with a ton of bad moments.
Yeah, I mean it's been in development hell for like
If that makes any sense.
ever.
And that makes it a bad movie in my opinion,
Yeah.
but at the core of this story is not that bad, right?
Yeah, like the sort of relationship with
The
Barry
idea of him
and
and
the
his
mom.
mom
Yeah.
is good. I think the idea of him wanting to go back and do all that and help his dad, that's cool. The
Yeah.
reason he went back or went to another timeline, that's fine. I think the problem with this movie is that it's not Flashpoint,
Yeah.
and it's just not it's not the same story.
Yeah.
It makes real no sense that him going back into. I know it happens in even in the Flashpoint timeline, he goes back in time and he saves his mom, right?
Yeah.
And that changes a bunch of stuff in his time, like in the timeline, like Aquaman and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And like that's fine, but most of it pretty much stayed like the people were the same, right?
Yeah.
It was just some different events happened, right? So it was a little easier for us to understand it.
Yeah.
Like instead of Bruce Wayne being Batman, it was Thomas Wayne, right? It wasn't
Yeah.
Batman, but he's older and retired, and all this stuff. Although I
Yeah.
think Michael Keaton is one of the best parts of this movie. I
Yeah.
just think the concept of it doesn't really work as well as Thomas Wayne's Batman, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that they robbed us of Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Batman kind of breaks my heart a little bit. I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan, so he could have been a really cool Batman, and would have loved to have seen it.
And
But
Chick Hicks as Batman is pretty cool.
No, but here's the thing. I love that they brought back Michael Keaton, and that was really the first thing that they announced with this movie. But it was kind of a similar situation with Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
I think, or kind of the similar situation with Justice League and Avengers, right? It kind of seemed that because of when this movie came out and all the delays and things that happened, by the time this movie rolled out, I was sick of the multiverse stuff, or at least kind of done with it. Like I was kind of getting ready to be done with it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
I mean,
well,
at least
like,
the same time as Spider-Verse, and yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean, right? So there was so many other multiverse movies that had already come out at that point, and not that I was like bored with the idea. I was just kind of like, okay, here we go again, right? Let's do this one last time, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of how I reacted. And like again, Michael Keaton I thought was a great job. Sasha Calle as Supergirl, great job. For what they were given.
Yeah.
I know Michael Shannon, his return, he kind of just said that he didn't understand why they called him, because he was like, "I'm dead, bro."
Yeah.
Like, and they were like, "No, it's a different universe," and he was like, "What does that mean?" Which is like fair enough. If your actor is saying that, maybe don't bring him back.
Yeah.
Because he just kind of did it for the money in this situation. But
yeah.
What did you think?
It was. I mean, a lot of it was calling back to Man of Steel, and at the time I hadn't watched Man of Steel, so, but having watched it since, it adds a little bit more to that movie. To the
really?
Yeah, really. And I can appreciate it. It's interesting to make Barry more likable. They had to
I think it was
add
cool
another Barry.
Yeah, they had to add a more annoying Barry to make you like the other one, which I think is wild. And I mean, we can't move on. We can't end off this episode without talking about the big scene, the big shock scene that really affected the story of the Flash, and that's when Nicolas Cage flew out and he was fighting a giant spider. That really changed the movie.
Yeah, for me. Dude, there was such weird deep cuts, because like unless you knew that was a possible casting sort of thing, it just doesn't make sense. It's like, oh, it's Nick Cage as Superman.
That's you know what, he did film stuff for that movie,
but
he said that, but he said like what I filmed was not in the movie.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
Definitely weird, all the deep fakes. It was just not well done and not. Yeah, it was just.
It wasn't
pretty
well
bad.
thought out.
Yeah.
Like, Christopher Reeve bringing him back, like I think it's like personally, like I know there was some people I know it was like, oh, like for people who, I didn't grow up on Christopher Reeve, right? So
Yeah.
it's hard for me to really sit here and be like, oh, would that was good or bad or not. Like
Yeah.
there is nostalgia, but it's not as much, right? I'm
Yeah.
always going to be here. Like I think it's stupid that they had Christopher Reeve in it and not Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff from even the more recent DC projects, right? There was like, where was Christian Bale? That would have made way more sense than Adam West. Instead of George Reeves and bringing that version of Superman, and it's like, what about like the Smallville version, right?
Yeah.
Even
And
that makes more sense.
The worst thing,
Brandon
why
Ralph,
didn't they
bring
bring
him
in Grant Gustin? Why didn't they bring in Flash?
I was just about to bring that up.
It's a Flash movie. Why don't
you should have had Grant
Flash?
Gustin.
Yeah.
Hell, even Titans had a better multiverse scene than the Flash.
Yeah.
Which by the way is pretty bad. I've watched all of Titans, and if you want to do a podcast on that, I'll talk your ear off for 2 hours about that shit.
Yeah.
But dude, nah.
Yeah.
The fact that Titans did it better is pretty wild.
To credit the movie, that the first part of it felt very much like an established DC universe would. You know?
Yeah, actually, and I know Andy Muschietti, the director, is set to. I know he's last I heard, he was set to do the Batman, the Brave and the Bold movie. I'm okay with it. I'm fine with it, especially if that's how he's going to portray him in a cinematical sense. Just maybe don't do a CGI cowl, because he did look a little fake at some points.
Yeah,
like just the cowl looked fake, and like the body looked fine, but he just looked like he wasn't there. And then maybe don't have Batman be such an idiot.
Yeah.
Because when he got that lasso wrapped around his hand and he started like, oh, maybe I should just give all my money away.
Yeah, that would help. But no, I'm rich.
Can I tell you something? Do you know about this? What? In the comic books, okay? Yeah. I don't even read comics, but I know about this, okay?
Yeah.
There's a scene when Batman picks up the lasso and Clark grabs it, and Wonder Woman grabs it, like, yo, we should reveal our identities. And Superman goes, Clark Kent, Kal-El. And, Wonder Woman goes, Diana Prince of the Themyscira. And Batman, while holding the lasso of truth, goes, Batman.
Yeah. Because
it's the coldest scene.
Because that's
who he is.
Yeah.
That's who he is.
The mask isn't Batman. The mask is Bruce Wayne. Yeah. That's the real.
Mask. Like, don't get me wrong. Did it make me kind of laugh? Yes. Is it funny? Like a fun poke at the character Batman? Absolutely.
Yeah, but like Batman isn't Bruce Wayne. I mean, like but not really.
His money and all that stuff, that's really not who he is, right?
Yeah.
Is it right? Probably. Yeah. Realistically, he should just give all of his money away. But that's not what Batman should say. That's what other people should say to Batman.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the very end reveal? George Clooney.
I mean, listen, I mean, as I said in the first podcast or second podcast or whenever we talked about Batman last,
comes up a lot.
Batman Forever, Batman Robin. That was the shit. So when I saw him, I clapped, man. I was like, yes,
that's my Batman.
That's the new Brave. Can't wait for Brave and the Bold, man. Can't wait for Brave and the Bold.
I don't want Brave and the Bold to be George Clooney, but also. Imagine.
Dude, I want to see the bat nips again.
Yeah.
That's what I was like. So I'm like, when I saw it, I was like, so what you're telling me is you casted George Clooney.
Yeah.
You brought him onto set and you didn't get him in the suit?
Yeah. It's like.
Get out of here, dude. Get him out of here.
Dude, I wonder if maybe in like the tuxedo, if they have like nipples for the tuxedo
nips.
Yeah. Do you think? Be like, oh, that's Batman.
It's like that's his thing. Like instead of putting bats on everything, he just puts nipples. It's like his car has nipples on it.
Yeah, it's like, what do we need? It's not Batman. It's Nipple Man. The bats were just part of it.
The bats just happened to be the thing. He also
he just ordered a suit online, and it was like a Batman suit, and he was like, it's like, this ain't me. And it's like, oh, now that.
I gotta put nipples on it.
And then people started calling him Batman. It's like, no, you look at the wrong parts.
Crazy. No, I mean
That's
overall, I
wild.
think like it's kind of one of those. I mean, we'll kind of cap it off here, right, with the whole DCU.
Yeah.
And then you can give your opinion, but I'm gonna kind of say it this way: it's like there's a lot of lost potential here, especially with a lot of the castings. I mean,
Yeah.
as we said,
As I
pretty much
said, that's the
everything.
best part of the
There's a lot of good
DCEU.
castings. There's just a lot of missed opportunities.
Yeah.
So when I get asked, like, what do you think of the new DCU? It's kind of like I'm glad that there's going to be a vision,
Yeah.
right? I think that's the biggest thing I'm looking forward to. I fully trust James Gunn. He has not missed yet. Look at his past movies. Hell, Scooby Doo is even a good movie, dude.
Yeah.
I just rewatched that recently. Fire movie, dude. Don't hate on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty bad actually, but it's pretty funny. It's fun. It's funny to watch.
Space Cop.
And to kind of give my final count, but I know we were talking about Batman earlier, but what I think they should do, Brave and the Bold, make it about the Bat family. Give us Red Hood.
Yeah,
That's
that'd be
all
good.
I'll say. Bat family.
Red Hood, Nightwing.
Red Hood, Nightwing.
Yeah.
Damian. You could take or leave Tim for all I care, to be honest.
Yeah.
Barbara. Do all those guys.
Yeah. Martha. Definitely excited for the Elseworld stuff that's coming.
And that's what I'm glad about. I'm glad they're keeping that separate.
Yeah.
I think that is good.
Overall, I mean, I haven't seen all of it yet. I'm still going through it. Like I have Justice League.
It's
to
okay.
Go.
It's not as bad as a lot of people made it out to be.
But yeah, I think they're coming in at a good time with the new DCU.
Yeah.
When Marvel isn't a juggernaut as much.
Mm.
Like they've somewhat fallen off. Somewhat.
And you know what? They're also
generous.
kind of. It's looking like they're going to reboot too some point after Secret Wars.
Yeah.
So I can see them doing that. I can see them. I don't know if that's not confirmed or anything. And I don't want to make that very clear. I'm not sure if that's true or not. But they might be ahead of the curve when it comes to the reboot.
Yeah.
If that's true. If that is said to be true.
But I mean, there's people that I think could look towards a new sort of thing, and I think that if they do it right, I think if they don't do it right, then it's gonna be toast for a while.
It's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tough.
Like Superman, period, has to do well.
That's true. Yeah, and I think that's why it's good that James Gunn's working on it.
Yeah.
I fully trust him that he can make a good Superman movie.
If they start with the dud, then the trust isn't going to be there.
It's going to be a really hard track back.
Yeah, it's like, guys, but the second one is, the second movie is going to be good. People are like, oh, well, yeah. But excited to see where it goes. It's coming in the future. Rest in peace.
R.I.P. to the DCEU.
Yeah.
But I think that is pretty much it when it comes to
what
we talk about.
A lot of characters to be forgotten, like we forgot Slater, didn't we?
We did forget him this episode.
Dude.
Yeah. We want to say sorry to you.
Yeah, sorry.
Later. We'll get you next time for the episode. We'll make sure to get you on. Which I think next episode we are actually going to have our second guest.
Yeah.
Which we won't reveal who that is yet.
Not 100%. We might not, but
if we do it, it'll be on the community tab. So if you're on YouTube, go check out the community tab.
Yeah, we'll say, hey, here's questions. Yeah.
And maybe you can ask some questions because now we're actually on our launch. So if you are watching, go check out our community tab and you can ask questions and maybe we'll ask them.
Gonna be pretty cool. But yeah, thank you all for
Thank you guys for watching this episode of the ATG
listening.
Podcast or listening. If you're on Spotify, make sure to check us out on Spotify. If you're on YouTube, and if you're on Spotify, make sure to come check us out on YouTube. We got some visuals and some more stuff you can see. Right now, it's getting really dark in my room, so not a great representation. There's like lines coming off my camera right now. That's really, dude. My camera's getting so dark that there's lag to it. That's crazy. Dude, there's lag. I'm doing a backstroke right now on my goddamn camera. What the hell? You stop singing that song. Dude, I have no idea if that's going to translate, but if it does, that's wild. Shut up. I'm cutting all of this out.
No. You got to keep it out. All right, everyone. That's all for this week.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks with our next episode. Peace out.
Peace out. Bye.